Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Full Court Press presented by Sarah Ford, Rochester Hills. I am still your host, Patti Cesarini, and today I am alongside one of our very own men's basketball players, Buru, Naivalurua. Buru, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to talk about just a little bit of this transition that I feel the basketball team has been going through. When you go through a season like you had last year, where you're Horizon League champions, regular season and in the tournament, you go to the NCAA tournament, the whole March Madness thing in Kentucky, and then it's like a completely new team this year, you know? So just going from that to having to really transition, what are maybe some of the challenges that the team has been going through?
I think it's different because the veterans on the team this year have only been here for a year.
Yeah.
It's me, it's Q, it's Isaiah. Q's been here for a couple of years, but this is his first year really seeing playing time. And Banks was a walk-on last year, so it's like you don't really have the same stability that you have with like Trey and Chris and Blake who had played their entire careers.
4 years at Oakland.
So it's like just having to be the guys that are teaching them a system that we really just picked up a year ago is really tough. And it's been challenging on both ends, but I feel like we've done a really good job defensively, at least in the half court. We play the defense a lot better than I thought we would, honestly, especially since me, Isaiah, and Q were the ones teaching it and not Blake. But like that's just been a really tough transition for us, like going from like Zay's like a fifth option on the court, and DQ's like third or fourth option on the court, and I played like 10 minutes a game to like all of a sudden they're like, here's all this responsibility. Like it's your job to lead us around and do stuff now.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah, that was very very full on, especially earlier on in the season. But I feel like as time's gone on, we've done a good job of teaching these things and trying to apply these concepts. It hasn't worked out perfectly for us, but
well, I mean, how could it? When is anything ever really perfect?
Yeah, but I do think that we will be turning it around very soon.
And you went from averaging 13 minutes a game to 31, almost playing an entire game, and you're hardly getting any breaks coming out. But did you expect that to happen with, the situation between Trey and Chris leaving? Were you expecting that kind of transition for yourself?
Yeah, as soon as Trey hopped in the portal, I basically knew I had my exit meeting with Campy, and he sat me down and he talked to me, and he basically said like, we're going to put you in a lot of the same situations that Trey was in, and we're going to need you to play a lot of minutes. So he wanted me to come back to school early and work on my game and do all sorts of things just to prepare me for the season. And I did that. I got to campus, I think, a month and a bit earlier than
everyone else did. Wow.
Other than Zay. Zay stayed here the entire summer. Zay and DQ stayed here the entire summer. Yep. And then I was the next guy back, and we basically just spent the whole summer working out until everyone got here, and continued that through the summer session and the fall, and basically just got better the entire time.
So in that exit meeting with Campy, what's running through your head as he's telling you these things?
It's just about what I expected. Like, he was very upfront in the recruiting process.
He's very honest, very blunt.
Yeah, he was very upfront in the recruiting process for me coming out of JUCO. I was expecting to play a little bit more my first season here, but with the stuff that happened before the season and having to sit out so long, it basically it messed up a lot of things.
Sure.
For me, because I couldn't practice for like 3 months.
Well, you said you were going to the rec, right?
Yeah.
To get reps.
I was in the rec, and I couldn't be in there with any of the managers or the coaches or anything. So I was just
you basically weren't on the team.
Yeah, I couldn't come to practice.
As much as you were on the team, you really weren't.
I wasn't in the weight room. I wasn't doing anything with it other than we went to the cafeteria together,
right?
And we ate, and then I'd be like, "So guys, that was practice today."
Fill me in. Yeah. What did I miss?
And it was tough. It was a really tough time, and that sort of set me back for last season.
Sure.
But as far as everything that's happened this year, Campy was pretty honest about it in recruiting me out of JUCO and then in the exit meeting as well. So it's not something that caught me by surprise, but it was still definitely a big adjustment because you go from just having this role to like I said, oh, here's all this responsibility now. You got to do all of this for the team, and I've tried to take to that as best I can.
Yeah. How do you feel it's going for you? Just, again, that's a personal transition that you're going through.
Well, it was a bit of a struggle at the start of the year.
Yeah.
I was getting the ball in a lot of positions, and I was just so used to looking for Trey and like Blake.
Right,
and
to dump it off.
Yeah, looking for anyone else to pass the ball to, basically. And then spent a lot of time watching film with Bobby and Trey and Smitty. So it was like, they were basically like, look, you know, Trey and Blake and all these guys are not here, and we kind of need you to score from these positions and do all of these things. And then after that conversation and just sort of remembering that, like, oh yeah, I am capable of playing basketball, actually. Like, I'm
You're here
good.
for a reason.
Yeah. Just became a lot more aggressive after that, and it's been good since then.
Just really settling in, too.
Yeah.
And you still have someone to dump the ball off to in the post. You have Allen, you know, and I feel like it's always talked about you two in tandem when, you know, talking, obviously you guys are both post players, but the way that you play with each other down on the block, how fun is it to have somebody like him down there with you?
Yeah, it actually takes a pretty big load off.
Yeah.
Because I get like 2-4 points every game from just like, they send a double from my guy and I'm standing underneath the rim. And Ellen's a good passer, so he finds me a lot. And, you know, it works vice versa as well. But just having him there, and he draws a lot of attention away. And the same thing with me, if I'm flashing up and taking defenders with me.
Yeah. It goes both ways.
So it's like, it's been a blessing as far as like being able to step into this role and having someone opposite me, being able to draw so much attention and sort of just leave me to do my thing on an island by myself, because nobody wants to step off of Allen. So
no. But you guys you also both do it for each other too, you know, and again, you just work so well with each other and passing out of the double teams too, not just to each other, but to finding your guys that are also on the perimeter as well. But I want to talk a little bit about, you know, you were at Garden City, JUCO, before you were at Oakland, and I don't know how, I don't want to say up to date, but aware, you know, all the stuff that's going on with the JUCO and the eligibility things, and they're saying that now players who were at JUCO for 2 years, however many years, that's not going to count towards your eligibility for Division I, NCAA Division I. It's not a full set thing yet, but they're saying that they're on the road to potentially getting to that spot. I just want your thoughts on that as somebody who played at a JUCO and is now literally in that situation at a Division I school.
Yeah, I think it's good. Honestly, when I came to JUCO, I didn't really understand why that counted towards years in the NCAA, because it's a completely different level. Like, there are guys in JUCO, or good conferences in JUCO, where a lot of teams have like 3, 4, 5 guys that are Division I caliber players. But then there are a bunch of guys who like probably aren't going to play at the next level ever again. Like, JUCO might be like the end of their basketball careers. The facilities are different and the scheduling is different. Everything about it is different. So I didn't understand why, and it's a completely different governing body too for JUCO.
Yeah, it is.
So I never understood why it was like, oh, you play 2 years here, now you only get 2 years in the NCAA.
Right.
So to me, at least, it only makes sense that like this sort of rule or law, whatever you want to call it, is getting put in place. As far as it affects me personally, as far as I know, if you meet the requirements as a JUCO player, you can get an extra year of eligibility.
Right.
But the law that's getting put in place would be for future JUCO athletes.
Okay.
So if they play their 2 years, they can get their 4 at the NCAA level.
So they're not backtracking it unless you meet the requirements for this extra year, because it was the Vanderbilt quarterback who sued saying that his time at JUCO shouldn't count for his Division I NCAA eligibility. And as they're going through the lawsuit, filed an injunction for him to play the next year, which is what happened. Essentially, the injunction went through, and he's now allowed to play for the, what is it going to be, this next season, whatever the next year is. 25-26. Yes, it'd be 25-26. So then it almost forced the NCAA to say, okay, well, I guess anyone that was supposed to graduate in 24 now has the extra year for 25-26. So that part doesn't apply to you, right? Because you're already here at Oakland.
Yeah. So
wow.
I'll still have one more year of eligibility because I only did 1 year in JUCO, but I won't be able to then play another year after that.
So even if it went through and they said, it doesn't matter the time you do at a JUCO, and they pass the law or whatever it's going to be, they're not backpedaling it.
Yeah, they're not backpedaling
to players who are currently in it or currently at the Division I level that previously played at a JUCO. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's like Alan, I think, would qualify for the extra year because he's in a similar position to the guy at Vanderbilt.
Okay.
It's just that the basketball and football seasons work a little bit different.
It's different. Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure he qualifies for the extra year.
No kidding.
And the Twins and Dang do.
So there's a good chunk of players on your team that qualify for it.
But I don't, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were given the extra year, would you take it?
Probably, yeah.
Not ready to go into the real world yet.
Yeah, that's
it's not fun.
A lot of responsibility I'm not ready to take on yet.
Trust me, I thought, because everyone always says, stay in school as long as you can. Don't go into the real world yet. And I mean, for me, I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll go. I don't want to play anymore. I had a great 4 years. I want to go in the real world. Everyone has to be overreacting. It cannot be that bad, but they're not overreacting.
Yeah, it's that bad.
I was like, wait, all of a sudden I have to pay my bills. I'm like, what? Pay the bills, pay the car payments, whatever. You're like, okay, this really wasn't all it's cracked up to me.
You kind of figure out how quickly life is just very expensive to live in.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw all my siblings. I come from a big family.
Because you come a huge family, yeah.
So I've seen all my siblings. They're a lot older than me, and some of them I think the second closest in age to me is 9 years older than I am.
Because you're the baby, right?
Yeah. So seeing all of them grow up and they all have kids and stuff now, it's just I'm not ready for all of that.
Nope.
I'm gonna
take the extra year.
Yeah. Stay as long as I can.
Right. So you do have, if you played 1 year at Garden City, and then you're now in your second season at Oakland. So then, you've got next year will be your senior year, and then you'll graduate. Wow. So what do you make of your basketball career so far? Because you started playing basketball in general relatively late. Because rugby was where you thought things were gonna go.
I played rugby from basically the time I could walk up until I was 15, before I decided I was gonna play basketball.
Yeah, it's pretty late.
Yeah.
Relatively late. Yeah.
And I knew a little bit. I wasn't completely new to the sport. My sister played basketball, and she'd take me down to the courts to rebound for her, basically.
Oh, that's the worst.
But
I hated that.
She taught me how to shoot a little bit, and just the basics of what basketball was. But it wasn't until I was 15 in high school, I got in trouble for not paying fees for the rugby league program.
Oh no.
And the way it works is you got put in detention for it when everyone else was practicing. So they'd have practice on the field for 2 hours, and we'd be in a classroom for 2 hours.
Literally
and it could be for all sorts of things, like not paying fees, or there was a red flag system that worked where if you had too many negative referrals, so negative instances
or whatever,
in school, or you had missing assignments, whatever it was.
Wow, so it's pretty strict.
Yeah, it was pretty school in Australia is very different. So if you didn't have all of this stuff done, you were basically in this classroom with one of the other coaches sitting down doing handbooks and stuff like that.
Ugh.
And then I was walking around one day at lunch, and the basketball coach saw me walking around, and he was like, "You're really tall, and I've seen you play
Yeah.
rugby. You're very athletic. Why don't you just try play basketball?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I actually can't play rugby right now, so why not?
Yeah,
Let's
why
just give it
not?
a
Yeah,
shot.
do something.
And I sucked, but I enjoyed it. I was bad, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Made a lot of good friends that I'm still friends with to this day. And yeah, basically never really looked back.
Yeah. And that's always the neat thing about sports too, is it feels like no matter where you are in your athletic career, the people that you meet and the friends that you make along the way are going to be with you for a long time, and it's cool that even at the age of 15, when you've just started playing basketball, that your friends there that you met, even if it's at home, whatever, you still met them through playing basketball, something that honestly kind of fell in your lap.
Yeah.
You were in trouble and couldn't play rugby. Coach comes up and says, hey, you're tall, let's go play basketball, whatever, and it's that's a cool, is it coincidence? Is it fate? However, I don't know, however you really want to look at it, but that's pretty neat.
Yeah, even like that was just for high school too. I was still playing rugby outside of school.
Right.
And it was the same thing. I was at a rec league playing with my friends. And then a coach who's basically helped me get here and JUCO and all this stuff saw me playing in the rec league, and he was like, I think I was 15, came down the court and like dunked the ball, and I played bad that entire game, but like I dunked the ball.
But he saw the dunk.
Yeah. And he came up to me and he was like, hey, do you want to play like representative basketball for like a club? And I was like, nah, I play rugby. Like, I'm not doing that. And he was like, just come to the tryout and then see if you want to play. I didn't go to the tryout. But like they had another one for the age group above me that my friend was going to play in. Yeah. So I went to go watch him. And that coach that had saw me at the rec league was the same coach. And he saw me sitting on the sideline. And he was like, why weren't you at the trial? And I couldn't pay the fees. So I was like, I'm just going to tell him I can't pay, and he would just leave me alone.
Right.
I told him that. And he responded like, so if I can get the club to waive your fees, you'll play?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Like, wait,
and I was
that
like,
wasn't...
Yeah.
I was expecting that to go.
I wasn't expecting him to get the fees waived.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, if you can waive them, I'll play. Sure, whatever. And he was like, cool.
So you kind of thought it was a big joke. Yeah. Like a game.
Yeah.
Almost.
There's no way this guy's going to, like, I'm some kid
happen.
who has never played organized basketball outside of high school in his life. There's no way.
But he saw me dunk, and now he's going through all this trouble to get me to play.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way this guy's going to, like, be able to get them to waive the fees, especially because, like, the club knew nothing about me. Well, I don't know what his pitch was going to be, but, like, I gave him my my mom's number because I didn't have a phone at the time.
Yeah.
And, like, 2 days later, he calls my mom, and he's like, oh, we got the fees waived. His first practice is tomorrow. And I was like, whoa. And then that basically...
Not even 24 hours? I got to be ready to play basketball?
Yeah, basically, like, thrust me straight into playing, like, representative basketball. And that guy has been, like, in contact with me the entire time, helped me get to Garden City, helped me make my decision
That's
coming here.
awesome.
And he, like, helped me with my agent. And he's...
Big time
like,
mentor.
Yeah. He's been there for me, like, every step of the way. Whenever I play bad or play well, he breaks down film and sends it to me. And
that's awesome. That's cool. Again, it's crazy how the world works and how things like that work. And then you come to Oakland and you've had quite the career here so far, transitioning from a different role than you were in last year, taking all of that on 13 minutes to 31 minutes a game, averaging, it's cool. It's really neat. But I want to fly through some of these fun questions that I do. It's this or that themed, but basketball themed, and we're running out of time, but it's okay. This was a good story. I like, if only we had more time. But anyways, let's fly through these real quick. Okay, this or that, Curry's 3-point shooting or Kobe's footwork?
Oh, if I could shoot like Curry, it'd be
lights out.
Finished.
Okay, game-winning shot, a last-second jumper or a last-second dunk?
Jumper.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, you see all of the really cool.
It's always jumper.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. Okay, best era of basketball, 80s and 90s or today's NBA?
Today's way better.
Really?
Yeah.
See, and now that we're running out of time, I don't have any time to retort your answers. Anyways, okay, most iconic sneaker, Air Jordans or LeBron's line?
Jordans.
I know.
I love
that
LeBron,
was a
but
given.
it's Jordans.
No, it was a given. I know. I just had to put it in. And then this one, I also feel very required to put this in there. Greatest of all time, LeBron or Jordan?
It's LeBron.
Oh, brother. You're the second. Okay, you are the second basketball player that we've brought on the show. The first one was Miriam, the Beeson, women's basketball, and I'm pretty sure she said the same thing.
I say LeBron James.
What?
I'm gonna say LeBron because I feel like watching LeBron, he just seems like such a good teammate. Like he's like a player and a coach in one.
And you don't think Michael Jordan
I'm not saying Michael Jordan isn't.
So both of you guys said LeBron. Wow. Okay.
LeBron.
You know what? That's a good way to end it. I'm kidding. Well, Buru, that's all that I've got for you today. I appreciate you coming on, telling your story, and everything that you've been through to get to this point in your basketball career and at this point in life as well. So thank you.
Well, thanks for having me.
And that is it for this edition of Full Court Press, presented by Serra Ford Rochester Hills, and we will see you next time.